Hi guys, welcome to the official YouTube channel of Law Prep Tutorial. And in today's session, we are going to talk about one passage a day strategy and how we can employ, how we can use it to our fullest when it comes to CLAT and law entrance exams, right? Before we begin, before we start the session today, let us just understand a comprehensive overview of why do we need such a strategy in the first place. See, CLAT is such an exam which, if you count it over the years, it has evolved, it has just changed, right? Like in terms of competition, talk about a decade ago from now, probably the number of candidates, the number of aspirants was not something substantial. But in the last few years, we have seen a fierce competition, a fiercely growing competition when it comes to CLAT. Second is about the evolving nature of exam. Evolving nature when it comes to the pattern, there is something new that the consortium tries to do, keeps on doing something new. It tries to evolve the examination and something new out of the box when it comes to the pattern. Third being unpredictability. And a classic example of unpredictability that could come to anyone's mind is the recent 2025 examination, wherein students were least expecting a passage or a question set from analytical reasoning. But the history is known to everyone. Then you have diversity in texts and variety of questions. You have legal, you have GK, you have logical reasoning, English, and quantitative. So in terms of a variety of questions, you have a plethora of things on the platter. Similar is the case when it comes to the type of passages that you come across. In GK, you have things based on either static or the dynamic portion. When it comes to English, you have passages from philosophy, literature, sociology, legal, multiple other genres, right? So in today's session, we are going to deal with one passage a day and see how it helps us in the entire preparation. Firstly, why is it important? Why do you actually need it? Let us have a logical basis for that, a logical understanding of why do you even need a passage per day. So this is the entire examination, how it is like. It's divided into English language, logical reasoning, legal reasoning, GK, and quantitative. And talking about some numbers, this is the weightage or the percentage based distribution of the entire exam, wherein 20% straight away goes to English language, 25 each goes to current affairs and legal, and the rest 20% and 10%, that is 30%, goes to logical and quantitative. With almost 90% of the examination focused on reading, it is super duper important that you do not miss out on reading and anything that pertains to reading and cracking the answers. Just to give you another ground, 90% or 108 questions, that is exactly why you need reading in your top-notch game, right? And one more mathematics behind why am I advocating or why am I talking about having one passage a day and then maybe substantially increasing it to 2 or 3 also in the future. With one as of now and 2 to 3 as you gradually gain pace, this is the exact number of questions or the number of passages that you'll be solving if you start even from today. Roughly around 2,500 to 3,000 questions. That's the number of questions which you will be able to crack or which you'll be able to solve. And let me just add to this, I am not countering in mocks. I'm not, counting the mocks here. If you add the mocks here, it's a substantial set of more than 5,000, 6,000 questions at your disposal. And this was the mathematical base that why do you actually need to do one passage a day and maybe then increase it to 2 or 3. If you talk about the science behind it, it is pretty much simple. The first thing is neuroplasticity, the second being muscle memory. These two things are related to how our brain functions. When it comes to neuroplasticity, it is basically about how you or your brain, it adapts to anything new and adapts to any changing things, adapts to any new, let's say, practice. And when it comes to muscle memory is about how over time, after repeating certain things over time, how your brain wires itself according to that. So muscle memory and neuroplasticity, a scientific basis of why you need to be consistent and why you need to be thorough when it comes to one passage a day. And lastly, progress tracking. Even though it's in the last, but let me be very much clear, it's the thing of paramount importance when it comes to your entire preparation, right? Now, how to do it? How to basically go ahead when it comes to one passage a day? The very first thing is to choose a diverse passage. And when I say diverse, I can name many genres like literature, non-fiction, fiction. Then we can go for philosophy, psychology, history, geography, number of genres. So you need to have diversity so that just in case you come across either of these in the exam, it's not something out of the blue for you, right? The next thing is to identify the main idea, key argument, supporting evidence. This is precisely what active reading or, going for an in-depth reading involves, wherein you should try to formulate questions like the why, what, and how of any passage, as in what is discussed, why is it discussed, and how is the author trying to discuss that, right? Then set a timer of 6 to 7 minutes, because if you talk about examination, the real examination, let's say English with 24 to 28 questions, and 24 to 28 minutes is exactly how much you have to be able to go through all the sections in time, right? So 6 to 7 minutes per passage, set a timer for that and then go ahead. After answering the question, the most important part that comes here is the post exam or the post solving thing, wherein what do we do? First thing, we analyze what we committed wrong, what went wrong, what should not have gone wrong, right? But there are certain things, certain pitfalls, certain problems that you need to be cautious about. The very first thing that you need to be cautious about is lack of concentration, lack of focus, and constantly delaying things. Do not get into the trap. If there is something that you have set the agenda for the day, only be contented, only be happy when you actually do it, actually end up doing it. The second is skipping difficult passages. Now, most of the times I come across students who say, ma'am, sir, I'm not comfortable with philosophy, I'm not comfortable with economics, but then that cannot be an excuse, right? You can basically make yourself comfortable. How? Let us, if you are not comfortable with economics, expose yourself to more and more things or more passages of economics. Expose yourself to the terminologies of economics. That is how you basically make yourself comfortable with any genre or any type of any class of passage. Third being not taking breaks. Again, this is also a very common problem, a persistent problem, that students try to just sit for longer hours, longer stretch, and then end up being burned out. It's not going to help. Take small breaks. Like, for example, there is a Pomodoro technique wherein you sit for 25 minutes, complete a task, take a break, and then do it again. Start doing these things. Start employing techniques wherein you sit for short interval, take a short break, then restart, and then go ahead. Then overthinking and misreading. Misreading is like, for example, some silly mistakes that students commit, wherein they miss a word, miss a particular word. Let's say all of these are synonyms except. So you miss the word except, and then you end up marking the wrong answer. And the last is neglecting your weaker areas. This is something which most of the students do. And there is a mock diary, there is a mock diary or a mock register that you should be maintaining, for the reason that whatever issues you have, whatever problems you have, whatever mistakes that you commit, or whatever weak areas you have, this is something that you're going to analyze as and when you, let's say, go through the mock, analyze what mistake you committed. That is how you analyze it, right? Now, these four things that you see behind me, the very first thing on the base is preparation, then practice, analysis, and consistency. Preparation is the base of everything. Preparation is the base of how you are going to actually crack the exam also. Preparation, although at the last, is the base of everything, and with this preparation comes practice, analysis, and consistency, which means ideally when you're talking about preparation, when you're talking about going ahead with the preparation and acing the exam with flying colors, so these are the three things that are important. Consistency, that is being regular with your mocks, being regular with your day-to-day practice, being regular with your analysis. Then analysis of all the points, all the problems that you see, all the problems that you face, all the errors that you commit, and a practice which is regular, which is all encompassive, not something that focusing a lot on one particular thing and neglecting others. A balanced perspective or a balanced preparation. I hope you like the video. Thank you and see you again.